영상의 구성은 다음과 같습니다. 그럼 한번 시작해 볼까요?
And for many of us, the pandemic habit hasn't faded away. And for many of us, the pandemic habit hasn't faded away. And for many of us, the pandemic habit hasn't faded away. And for many of us, the pandemic habit hasn't faded away. So another phrase or expression was that we heard in the video was fade away. Used here as faded, so the past tense, like something in the past. So, and for many of us, and the ... there is how they were speaking. It's not because anything is missing in the sentence. The pandemic habit hasn't faded away. Okay. And what they were referring to here in the video, the pandemic habit that they were talking about was online shopping.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I guess, right, like, since this video is about delivery vans, I think the more you shop online, the more what you're ordering has to be delivered. So online shopping was really big in the height of the pandemic. And so probably more delivery vans or delivery transportation on the road. But now that the pandemic is kind of fading away, now that the intensity of the pandemic is kind of fading away, that pandemic habit of online shopping is still kind of here, right?
Gotcha.
So it's probably some explanation of faded away at the same time as saying what the habit was they were referring to in the sentence.
Okay.
So your turn. Read the sentence, please.
And for many of us, the pandemic habit hasn't faded away.
Yep, good job. Everything really pronounced well. So how about faded away? Is that something you're familiar with?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. Well, let's chat about it. So to fade away means that something is losing its strength or its intensity and is becoming weaker. Okay. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
And, an example I can think of for it, because it can be something like, like concrete, that's something that you can actually touch, or it could be something more ambiguous, like not that you can't touch it, it's just sort of happening. Like the light, for example, as it comes to sundown, you could say, oh, the daylight is fading away. So instead of the bright sun in the middle of the day, it's kind of fading down to dark.
Gotcha.
Does that help explain? In addition to that short little definition, here's another sentence. Her anger began to fade away once she knew all the details of what had happened. Right. So it's going away. It's becoming weaker. Maybe she's really, really angry, really mad at something. But now that she knows, oh, that's how and why. Okay, my anger is is becoming weaker. It's going down.
Oh, she's getting like calm. She's calming down.
Calming down. Yeah. And, fade away is obviously used in reference to more things than just anger. But that kind of gives you an example, because if you can picture like the height of anger or even the height of sunshine, and it usually slowly goes away.
Right.
It's not like this. It's more like a, gradually happening.
Gradually. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. And how about the anger sentence?
Anger sentence. Okay. Her anger began to fade away once she knew all the details of what had happened.
Yep. And what do you think about that sentence in general? Do you think that could be true?
I 100% agree. That is true sentence. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Right. Because sometimes I can get angry or upset at something because of what it appears to be. But then you realize, oh, here are all the details and the story behind it. And then you're like, okay, maybe I don't need to be angry or upset about that.
Yeah. And also like when, the time passes, it literally the anger or all the like intense like stuff starts fading away.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point, right? Because that could even be like grief,
Yeah.
how intense your grief can be at the moment of a loss, but over time, over the years, it can, not that it necessarily goes away altogether, but it can lessen or, fade away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So here's some synonyms. Dwindle, which honestly, that's not a word I often hear.
Okay.
So maybe I shouldn't have put that as the first choice, but it does sound very sophisticated.
It does.
Yeah, thank you. Lessen, so meaning just become less, vanish or decrease. So I could see that in the anger sentence, right? Her anger began to vanish, began to decrease. Decrease sounds awkward, but I think vanish sounds really good. What?
Disappear.
Disappear, that would work too. Yeah.
Okay.
Really good. Yep. Disappear to me sometimes thinks of something though becoming invisible, right? Kind of like now you see it, now it's disappeared.
Okay. Gotcha.
But of all those synonyms, I think I like lessen or vanish the best.
Okay.
So can you think of any examples of something that we haven't talked about that might fade away over time?
Okay, here's my sentence.
Okay, I'm ready.
As the time passes, you will soon realize that what you think is important and valuable now, for instance, like money or nicer car, etc., those material stuff will fade away.
Yep. Or, and I don't know if the actual thing fades away as much as like your desire for it, your need to have it in your life. And, being older than you, that's so true. What was important to me when I was your age is maybe not quite as much the same now. So,
Right.
over time, those, here's a good one. The priorities fade away.
Ooh, gotcha.
You like that one?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Yep.
So
My
what?
pleasure.
So like speaking of prioritizing stuff,
Prioritizing.
prioritizing. Prioritizing.
Yep, you got it.
So I think there's like a YouTube channel. I don't off the top of my head, I don't know the name of
Good
the YouTube
expression.
channel. Thank you. Exactly. But so like this guy asked people about the things that people used to prioritize when they were younger.
Yeah.
But they realize that they are not as important as they think they used to be. I don't know. Does it make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. And I would say spot on.
Spot on. Oh, thank you. So what kind of stuff that you used to prioritize, but you don't think they are not important anymore in your life?
Ooh, that's a really deep question. I suppose money and career. Right. And go with career first. I mean, you think as you're growing up, your career is so important, and as is the income it brings. But maybe you give it more time and importance in your life and let other things that could and perhaps should be as important or more important slip away a little bit.
Gotcha.
Right? Like how many people, just spend so many hours at work because that's their priority. And I understand about the income, but in so doing, let maybe their own personal health go. Maybe, spend less time with family and friends, because at some point in time, and that's where I am, right? Your career is done. And in the big picture, has it really mattered? And are things like family and friends more important than career? And perhaps those should be nurtured and prioritized more when you're younger. Perhaps, I don't know.
Well said.
That's a lot of philosophy for just to fade away.
It is. Anyway, thank you for teaching me the meaning of the fade away. Yes.
Yep, and giving you good life advice. You didn't know you're coming here for life advice too,
I didn't
right?
expect. Yeah.
Yep.
sure.
Well, just remember you're the one who asked the question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.